Testing, 1, 2, testing. Oh my gosh, my lord, my lord, my lord. Mm, 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 mm. Okay, it looks like I'm back on. Yes. Okay, you can still share the live as you come in. Still share back the live. I think the notification will be back up, letting people know that I'm back on the air. Yes. Good afternoon to you all again, once again. You know, it's a very good thing to know that you're very effective in what you do, especially for people like me. I take no for an answer and I don't back down at all. Yes, don't back down at all. Not Gavin Matthews. There's no backing down at all. Where this is concerned, and I take no for an answer. I don't take no for an answer, as a matter of fact. So, good morning to those who are now tuning in, and good afternoon to those who are now tuning in also too. Now would be minutes to 12 in some portions of the planet, and some portions would be after 12 in like my area. And to some portions, it's getting into the evening hours. So, good evening to you once again. So I know that I am broadcasting once again. Yes. So please do I apologize for that interruption. And I am back on also on the live. The online radio. Yes. So good afternoon to those who are now joining me back on the GMS live radio Guyana, and to those who are joining me now on the GMS Live, the Voice of Democracy, live streaming on the Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and Twitter. Good afternoon to you, and good morning to some of you who are joining me in your different parts of the world. So, good afternoon to you all. I'm having a bit of a difference where my understanding is concerned when educating you, the populist or the people of Guyana, Guyanese all. Yesterday we had a very disturbing information that was posted on the social media and some media outlets online that gives me an an unprecedented understanding of where we are and what we're doing as a country. Guyanese, the People's Progressive Party is still the People's Progressive Party. Nothing that they do can be a shock to us because this is what they have done continuously over and over again. They have never changed. They might be a different person sitting at the helm of the seat, but they will never change. They will never change. Let me show you, for instance. You can remember when I think it was Mr. Lambert Marx, who was the Comptroller of Customs then. Was it Marx or Chu? Clarence Chu. I'm trying to remember which one out of them were the Comptroller of Customs. When a container of parts like magazines, weapons, like parts of weapons and guns and all these things were uncovered at the I think then it was a Javanance wharf, going to a particular businessman. Can you remember that story? It was mayhem in this country. Mayhem. Where or what do you think all of those ammunitions were going to? Let's be serious. Let's be serious. I hear politicians can pretend to don't know where all those things were going. Politicians can pretend. But the truth remains, or the fact remains, that the ship that was transporting all of those arms and ammunition, they say it was ammunition, but there were also arms on that ship too. Majority of it were ammunitions. I think we fail to realize what is at stake here. Let me reiterate. I think we fail to realize what is at stake here. What is at stake? Billions of US dollars and power, and to reel such interests to keep coming to the pockets of the selected few. People will and must die. For people like me, oh yeah, I'm one of them. Because you know why? Why you think I'm one of them? That is on, believe you me, as I sit here, don't be mistaken, I have a bounty on my head. And don't be too surprised you wake up one morning and hear that's the end of Gavin Matthews. You understand? But to help people to understand where are we going as a country is that mayhem must start. You must have a civil unrest in order for less than 1% must gain 98% of the interest of this country. This order must be put in place. Divide and rule must be the order of the day. Oh boy. Uh, let me see. Yes. Let me let you know exactly what I'm talking about. The People's Progressive Party will always be that they will always be disorderly, they will always be autocratic, they will always be racist. They have no other way in which they know how to govern. It is not within their DNA to govern. History speaks for itself where they are concerned. And history will always speak for them because they have no interests in the political welfare, social welfare of this country. They have no interest. They have one interest to keep on taking from Guyana. That's their interest. Keep on taking from Guyana. They don't care if the Guyanese people feel it or not. They don't care. And they will keep on doing what they do best. Believe you me. 5 point what? $5 million worth in arms and ammunition. That's a billion Guyana dollars. That's 1 billion Guyana dollars. And the reason why I will talk and say what I say, it is because it's the fact. The ship was a flag carrier. Its expected destination is Guyana. And heaven knows why that ship was intercepted. Whether or not people may say, oh, I think coming to Guyana, nobody knows where it's going. The mere fact is that it was intercepted, and thank this supreme being that it never ended up here. Because that's a lot. That's a lot of death and mayhem in this country. I I can't understand where do we fit in our knowledge about what is going on. How do we understand or put ourselves as citizens in understanding what is the political culture of this country? Or do we have a political culture? Do we have a democracy? Is it being practiced? We have a lot of things that is just happening on every single day. And we're yet still not comprehending as a people in how do we go about handling this situation. Let me be a part of a solution. Protest is the only norm of the day right now. Protest is the only norm of the day right now. If we do these things, this de facto illicit terrorist organization shall not rise. If we don't do these things, well, then we are being placed in a situation where we become unfit. We become a country that is not only isolated, but we become a failed state. And we are in the process of becoming a failed state because every Guyanese is speaking out about the constant situation in the country. Let me show you something. If we don't understand what is a failed state, let me explain to you in clear words about the actions of the PPP. They gave the sugar workers $250,000 as a payoff. They gave the public servants 7.5 or 7%, which is $4,500, retracted from January plus taxed. They gave the private sector $27 billion. They went and passed that as an emergency spending fund to the private sector. $27 billion. Check it out. Who profits the most? Themselves. The 1% or the less than 1% that takes up all of the 99% of Guyana. That's who profits the most. And the people who are there, the public servants, the Guyanese people who are there who voted in the past election for their own rights to elect a government of their will were taken away from them. And it continues to show how their will are being taken away from them over and over. And they're not stopping. They are not stopping. And we are going to sit down and say to ourselves, well, maybe the international community is looking, the State Department is looking, the US government is looking, all these governments are looking and they're getting involved into what? What are they getting involved in? They're not getting involved because we're not doing anything. We're not going to be represented by anyone because we're not getting up to say something. And in order for us to get up to say something, we have to hold our elected representatives accountable. Get up and pressure them. Let them react. This is the only way. This is the only way that they will react. This is the only way that inclusivity of Guyanese, the will of Guyanese, shall progress. This is the only way. If we do nothing, nothing will be done. And then we will become predators to the prey. The PPP was always the predators and we are the prey. Because that's what the predators do. They suck upon the weaknesses of the prey and we die out by the hundreds. And then we say nothing about it. Nobody can say anything about it. And let me show you why nobody says anything about it. Between the years 2000 and 2010 of the Barrett Jagdeo government, actually 2,400 people died. And out of 2,400 people died, 1,480 cannot be given accounted for. They either died or disappeared. And we sat down within that 10-year period. Every single day it was reported in the news media. Then Kaitro News were on top because they reported everything. The nation said nothing. You know when the nation talked and started speaking? At the 2011 regional and general elections. That's when they spoke. And there's where we saw minority government. So Donald Ramatar, because he didn't have the majority in parliament, he prorogued the parliament. Then in 2015, we had a complete change because the people spoke. Whilst the people spoke, the terrorist regime sat down and choreographed their shots, realizing that they need to keep 10 steps ahead of us because they need to wheel power back again. So they're here now. They wielded the power back again. They weren't even elected. What else do we need to see, people? Well, do we want somebody to come and to say, well, look, this is what happened? It's right in front of our faces. It is right there. It's not even hidden in plain sight. These people are standing up, bold enough to take our rights and our wealth away from us. Whilst our politicians are fighting for leadership, causing a gross misconduct and distraction away from the truth and the prize. You look at it, the PPP is snatching powers out of our hands and taking our wealth away from us. Whilst the APNU AFC, as so inclusive as they are, cannot seem to realize where unity and the will of the people is important more than what they're doing. I am getting fed up of it. We got to get serious because we need to have people who can represent us when the time is given. We need to stop having these things done to us on a daily basis and we can't do nothing about it. I'm getting sick and tired. I am getting sick and tired. And let me tell you something. Let me show you how destructive are these people. And there are those of us who are in the same tuning ability. There are those like us who are there to oppress their brothers and sisters. You can imagine I'm trying to get on air for the past 4 nights. As a matter of fact, for the past 2 weeks properly. And I can't seem to get on air. I can't seem to how should I put it over? I can't seem to come on the broadcast to enlighten Guyanese, to educate them. Because people like me ain't supposed to happen. How do you get people like me to get out of hand, as they would claim? and to create such power among myself, people like myself. So Gavin Matthews now must be done away. So gradually I be in and out, in and out. This, what you're seeing here, is a preemptive strike against freedom of speech, against freedom of information, against freedom of the truth. This what you're seeing here, this fight on the social media. You can imagine they're not only controlling the Facebook feed, but they're controlling those who give data, internet or Wi-Fi services. So as soon as you get information of who Gavin Matthews is using to produce or to promote what comes out of Guyana, he must be stopped at all costs. He must be stopped. So there is this engagement to decapitate the Gavin Matthews show, to shrink it, to destroy it, to stop the information from coming out because he's always on point. You see, I can't waste time talking about the different things that are going on. It makes no sense. It's right in front of our face. We know that times are getting hard. We know that prices are getting out of hand. We know that cost of living is going up. We know all these things are happening, but yet we are one of the richest oil producing countries in this hemisphere. We know all these things, and yet still, what are we doing about it? Do we continue to sit down? Do we continue to say, okay, all right, you know, hold on, let me block this person. I had somebody I want to block a little while now. I just saw him popped up. Yes, well, he's blocked, so I don't have to worry. Yeah. What do we do as a people and as a country? Again, I say, hold our elected representatives accountable. If we can't, let us hit the streets. Let us hit the streets. They talk about COVID. You're now seeing what's going on. We got people creating super spreaders. If we can align ourselves, if we can align ourselves to go and have a party in Linden, 5,000 and more, well then we can protest. We can protest. If we can align ourselves to be at the back of the Marriott Hotel by the hundreds, cars are blocked off, lined off, people in a bundle, well then we can protest. What is important to us right now, Guyanese? The liquor, the party, or what has been taken from us as a people? Let us sit down and ask ourselves, are we preparing for tomorrow or are we seeing today only? Do we hold our elected representatives accountable? Or do we ignore the fact that they're there to represent us? Look, the mayor, Mr. Ubraj Narain, had to be on the air talking about laws that do not give the main city council full representation. All is going to the local government ministry. That is part of the government. So the main city council can't get anything done at all, and they cannot because there are laws that are there are laws that are there that are taking that does not give them the right to operate as mayor and city council or town councils. There are laws that are there prohibiting them. You could imagine a man getting charged for littering, and then when he's finished, he has to pay a fine, and that fine goes to the consolidated fund. It doesn't even go as parts of monies being awarded to the main city council because the crime happened within the boundaries of the mayor and town council. Nothing. So the main city council is helpless at the end of the month because they don't have money. If people don't pay their rates and taxes, it can't function. Simple. And people are not paying their rates and taxes, so it can't function. They have to depend. You can imagine the main city council has to depend upon the government to give them money. If the laws need to be changed, it has to depend upon the government to change those laws and give the rights to the main city council. This is the kind of situation we're living in. Let me show you one of them. All those lands on Aubrey Barker Road, where they say it was a government section that needs to be leased. 10 years ago, those lands were under the mayor and city council because you had to get where the roundabout is now being built to access the road from Mandela Avenue straight to at the back of Diamond, that industrial road. That road is now being built. All there was once controlled by the main city council. When the de facto administration took over, they took that away from them and take it to the Lands and Survey Commission. Now the Lands and Survey Commission, those rights have been taken from them and went straight to the office of the president. So it's only the president's office can sign off who gets which piece of land and who doesn't get. Doesn't matter who's paying. The office of the president now states, well, hey, I don't care if you got 10, $15 million, you can't get no land. Me friends they gotta get first. If you're black, stay back. If it's not PPP, well, you can't get through. That's what's going on. So you find now all these things are happening right before our eyes. And what do we do? Nothing. Nothing. We're still looking, you can imagine, we are still looking for actions to be taken by our political representatives when they themselves are not taking action. Some of them don't even care. I'm saying to you, some of them don't even care. We're still looking for actions to be taken from them. If we don't pressure these people, they will never do anything. They will go around the place giving speeches, giving news conferences, and that's the end of it for the day. And nothing can be done. In this country, it's politicians first and country last. That's not a democracy. A democracy is when country is first and politicians are last. Let me show you an instance how we tend to forget. Maya Motley won a landslide victory in Barbados. And we sending out congratulatory messages to her upon her landslide victory in Barbados. But we forget it's the same person that came to Guyana when they were head of the Caribbean community and destroyed the whole scenario of our constitutional rights in this country. Came to this country, sat down, saw all they had to see, talked to who they had to talk to, sent some people from whichever country to do an analysis, and went back and give a report when they haven't even saw the finishing of what they created. Went back to their country, Guyana left in mayhem. We gotta try it out with that. Maya, Ralph, and some other people. They came here with the invitation from the APNU AFC, and they did what they had to do. She showed her true colors, and still showing her true colors. And not only that, participated in diplomatic interests in Guyana and influences. Do you remember? It is her country who made that deal to put up members of the Exxon Mobil, members of the Exxon Mobil company, to try to make a foundation in which they can live in Barbados, not in Guyana, to try to create a zone to put them up, members of the executive, members of the administrative body. And it was Ralph Gonzalez who agreed to have the same interests of a bulk terminal built in his country, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, so they can keep and store Guyana's fuel, keep and store Guyana's oil that was extracted from Exxon Mobil. You forgot those deals? I don't forget them. I don't care who win no landslide victory. I don't congratulate those who I understand that it's not good for me and my country. It's good for her and our country. The things that she could come here and say and do, she can't do it in Barbados. Why you think she win a landslide victory? You think she could do half of the things that she came here and do in Barbados? Hell no. Let me take this call. Thank you for calling GMS Live Radio Guyana and GMS Live Voice of Democracy. Good afternoon to you.
Dr. Matthew, good afternoon to you, sir.
Good afternoon to you.
I am listening to your program, and I want something to be corrected. If what you're saying about Mia Motley just won the election in Barbados, this is twice in a row. She won by a landslide. It shows that the people of Barbados want her, but that's besides the point. Mia Motley, the Prime Minister of Barbados, Keith Rowley, the Prime Minister of Trinidad, Gonzalez, the Prime Minister of St. Vincent, Kerep, the Prime Minister of Dominica, and I think the Grenada Prime Minister, I forgot his he came down there. 5 Prime Ministers came down there during the election. If you were saying that this woman came and sowed discord, then something is wrong with the PNC, because they don't believe what they are telling the world, that this government was installed and this election was rigged. Because I saw the current leader, the new leader of the PNCR, and his entire executive team congratulating Mia Motley.
Okay, let me correct you before you keep on going. I am not a member of the PNC. This show is not a member of the AP. This show does not support PNC nor APNU AFC. This show supports the voice of democracy, the rights of the people of Guyana. And if I feel that somehow or the other that they congratulated her, that's their understanding and their perspective, not me. Because I knew what she came here and do. I'm still a Guyanese and I'm still here. You understand? So I must speak out. I don't
So
forget.
you were saying that the PNC and the PNC apparatus,
Mhm.
they're wrong to reach out to her. I see they're
No, no,
reaching
no,
out to
no,
the
no, no,
diplomats.
no,
The
no.
same diplomats that they curse out.
Hold
I
on,
see they're meeting with them too and
hold
saying
on,
it's nice to have you on board.
hold
These
on.
people are trying to trick us. These people, they were the ones that tried to steal the election.
You think so? Let me tell
Oh
you
yes,
this here. Let me
I
tell
know the
you.
PNC don't change.
Let me tell you this here. So politics is always a game. It has a lot of dirt and history of dirt in it. Whoever party wins an election. But I'm saying this to you. I always understand that Guyana declares an election when 10 administrative districts returning officer declares their districts. That's how the constitution says. Whether who complain, who rig, who complain, who did what. The mere fact is that if you do it in the way of how the constitution is advised, I would understand that. But the past election was never done according to the constitution. You get my point? That is why I am always here talking about this, because it was never constitutionally done. Never. This is the first time in the history we have a declaration of an unconstitutional elected representative, which is the PPP. It is on. They have never. They ain't even gained power
My
the way of the
friend,
constitution.
my friend.
They had came to power by a way
GCOM,
of installation.
the chairman of GCOM
Ah,
fired Lowenfield, Mingo, and Myers. The chairman of GCOM, she realized the PNC were trying to rig the election. The
uh-huh,
world condemned the PNC. Over 230 something thousand Guyanese
uh-huh.
condemned the PNC. How could you say? How could Gavin Matthews say that the PNC won this election? Which
Okay,
part?
okay.
Problems?
I like this conversation. I like this conversation. Listen to me carefully, right? After the elections would have finished in March 2nd, 2020, the same GCOM chairman came not only to Guyana at a press conference, but to the world and said it was free and fair. It was the same chairperson who accepted a declaration by Keith Lowenfield declaring the APNU AFC the winners of that election by a declaration. Oh, wait. By a declaration constitutionally given by
Roll the tape,
10
roll the tape,
returning
roll the tape,
officers. Oh,
roll
brother.
the tape.
Huh?
Where's the tape? Roll the tape.
Roll the tape?
CNN would have rolled the tape. MSNBC would have rolled the tape as evidence. Roll the tape showing that she declared that the PNC
Hold
won
on,
the
wait.
election. Roll the tape.
MSNBC is not part of Guyana. I'm talking about
I
Guyanese.
understand, but what I'm trying to tell you, if you're going to report these things and say, call it facts, roll the tape.
But it's the facts. Hold on, wait. The facts, hold on. The facts is on the website. The facts, all these, all that I'm talking about, man, you listen to me, all of that I'm talking about is on the internet itself. You can go there and you can find it. What happened? They took that same information and they put it into the Supreme Court to be held there. You understand? As evidence. I don't know why, but it's right there. What happened after then? Everything was unconstitutional. That is what happened. After then, everything was unconstitutional.
I
Or the
don't know who you're
60,
speaking to.
or the
You're speaking
60
to
is
wise Guyanese people.
unconstitutional. You mightn't like APNU AFC, I don't care. You mightn't like the
No,
PNC, I
this
don't
has
care.
nothing to do.
You
I love the
hold on,
PNC.
wait, no man. Allow me to speak, no man. I don't know if you like the PPP, but I can tell you they say, as long as you're a party that gain power unconstitutionally, not in accordance of the representation of the People's Act, as long as you are that party, I can't support you. I can speak against you all the time.
Let me tell you this here.
Ah,
Recently, this in El Salvador won the election and he was condemned. The entire world condemning him.
Who's that?
The election.
Who's that?
The guy in El Salvador, the president, El Presidente.
Man, hold on, wait. You talking about El Salvador? Talking about Guyana, man?
Yes, I'm trying to tell you because if God's saying that this government is illegal, why is it the world is working with them?
Okay, let me tell you something. The world that you're talking about, I'm 100% sure you live in the U.S. The U.S. that you're talking about make deals with tyrants and terrorists. They do. They go in bed with them just to make sure that they get at somebody else. So don't let's pretend that the world is free and fair and just. Don't let's pretend about these international countries are just.
My friend,
you understand?
I am telling you, while these countries have the flaws because they're being used.
No. Don't put it as flaws. Don't put it as flaws.
This government that is in office has been constitutionally elected.
Which government?
That claim that the beings robbed out of office. Let me say this here.
Which government are you talking about?
You see the kind of the people that running the PNC. He don't even want to step, but you want to throw dust in your eyes.
Well, not my eyes. Not my eyes.
Even he don't want to step down.
I believe here what. I believe that you're still living in your epiphany. I can't blame you. This is a place where you can call and talk about however you feel and sound about what situation is going on. But Gavin Matthews, it's all about facts. And you cannot, I will not allow you to tell me.
Facts. That's alternative facts you're using. What not truth.
What is alternative facts and what is not truth?
That is fake facts.
What is fake facts? That this government was duly elected?
That the current government has been duly elected. The world has seen it and certified. And
wait. So hold on, wait. The world is our constitution. The world is our constitution. Are you trying to insult my intelligence? No, are you trying to insult my intelligence? Our constitution says an election is declared by 10 declared districts. Here, I think you're misinterpreting me and your understanding. Go back, please, go into our constitution. Check up. Go into our constitution, check up on Representation of the People's Act, and they will tell you, it will tell you how a government is elected in this country. I strongly believe that, and come back to me, right? I strongly believe that. Pleasant good afternoon to you. Hello. A pleasant good afternoon to you. Welcome to the brother. I think, oh my gosh. Good afternoon to you. You know, I think you guys need to. Ah, boy. Just hold. Thank you for calling. Thank you for calling the GMS Live Voice of Democracy and GMS Live Radio Guyana. Good afternoon to you. Here, hold on. Those who are calling, I got like 5-10 phone calls one time. Just allow one person to call in. You understand? So we can have a civil conversation. Pleasant good afternoon to you. Welcome to the GMS Live Voice of Democracy and GMS Live Radio Guyana. Good afternoon. Hello? Hello? Oh, brother. Hold on. I want to have this conversation, and it looks like it's going to be a nice conversation. But I want people to understand that I have to allow people to call in so we can have a vibrant and productive conversation where I'm allowing them to express themselves. Good afternoon to you, sir.
Yeah. That call is crazy. No matter whatever you say, Gavin,
No,
you wouldn't get over.
hold on themselves. I
He's
must allow
talking
people
about
to call and express themselves.
rolling tips.
Go ahead.
Yeah, he's talking about rolling tips. Now, PvP been talking.
Oh boy.
All the evidence is against PvP. They have it on tape. So I don't know what he's talking his conscience about. The evidence is there. The regular. Now, who gonna accept all those dead votes? The same PvP accepted the dead vote and claimed they win. Now we're looking at the petition. Why do they want the petition to be heard? But they done already claim that PNC rig. They already put Mingo, Mr. Louis Field, Mr. Myers in front of the court with not a shred of evidence, and he's coming talking about the whole world. That's why PvP so stupid. They want to involve the world. Everything that they're trying to ship now, talking guns, the whole world is watching at them, and they will be exposing them piece by piece by piece by piece. Now, the thing is that the outside world would only pay attention when they see confusion. We need protests in the country, and Mr. Horman and Mr. Granger is against that. So I don't know what are their methods to fight against this PvP if they don't want people to protest.
Okay, understand you.
Jack Dio visited Ghana, so we never know if this was his deal of bringing back to the country, his idea of bringing back to the country ammunition. Now they think this thing is easy. None of their supporters, I know they don't want to see back a losing massacre because most of them people would always sacrifice. Oh, they're so stupid. It's them that will get sacrificed, huh? So I don't know what this call is talking about. We want the petition to be heard to rectify if PNC rig this election, no, yes, and we could hold them to it. But once it's PvP talking, that's crap. And what the next thing I'm trying to say to is that all of this propaganda and so on that PvP is leveled against PNC. You see now they're back in power and you see what's going on. So my only thought is that everything that they said that PNC do, it's going to fall back on them, and they're going to do it, and that's how they're going to expose itself, and that's how the country's going to see them. We can't be voting for racing the animal. We supposed to have done that shit years ago, man. Years ago.
Yeah, I understand, but I want you to understand too that the people who suffers the most in this country are black people.
Definitely.
Whether we don't want to look at it as race or not, the people who suffer the most, the people who are being oppressed the most are black people because the PvP sees us as PNC. That's how they look at us. The minute they look at us, we are a representation of the PNC. And that's why
the call is talking. He don't know what unfairness, and I sure his voice, I could tell he's an African.
Yes,
yes. He want to talk about unfairness.
That caller,
look at that COVID cash grant.
That caller.
The amount of people that didn't get that cash grant. Yes.
The caller that called just now, and we talk frequently. Mostly every day we talk. But then you see, there are people with different perceptions, but you have to stand your ground. You don't have to ignore them, but you need to stand your ground. You need to let them know that this is who you are. This is your identification. You just can't change it. I'm not the person who would change my identification You understand? They ain't got no money,
Yep.
no buy, no nothing to make I change who I am. I am who I am. When I tell you who I am, that's it. You understand? That caller frequently would always try to change my perceptions, but I can't because I'm living in Guyana. You look at me, you see the image, the living image of Guyanese and a person who lives in this country. So, um,
I don't know. I don't know. You're talking about the world. See, the world has seen nothing. The world only heard what PPP had to say. They never saw no evidence
don't
of
let
the
us
PMC.
don't
Why
let's
would
get
the, why
worked
would
up.
the gov-
Don't let's get
why would
worked
the
up.
government why would the government rig to put another party in? Why wouldn't they rig for
It
themselves
got
to go in?
it got to be a stupid set of people because if you're gonna rig Godfather something, boxes coming from the East Coast, which comes to about 17,000 votes in the favor of PVP, you gotta be stupid. You understand what I mean? It's only stupid
This
people do these things.
and and the citizen and some of them who are talking against the same PPP,
Hmm.
they are the ones that are going to the super spreader event. And knowing that the COVID hospital, as they say, are killing out most of the value opposition supporter, and they're still going to support all of these events. And when the COVID hit them, I don't know what they're going to say.
Hmm. Okay. Well, thank you very much for calling because I got to make some more calls that I
Yeah,
see coming in, so I
no
want to give
problem.
people a
Thanks
chance to
again.
talk.
That caller got a lot of people buying up, so look out for the person calling.
Okay, good. Yeah, yeah. To those who are commenting on the section, I must help you to understand this. This is what makes me who I am. When I got people no to the to my friend who's calling back, I can't answer you right now. I got other people who I gotta call and make sure that they give their voice to. Okay? So please don't call back because I won't answer you. Not right now. Thank you very much for calling the GMS Live Voice of Democracy and GMS Live Radio Guyana. Good afternoon to you. Go ahead.
Hi, I just wanted to tell you that the caller that
Yes, go ahead.
yeah, I said the caller that just called through need to have him on air.
No, you see, you gotta understand who am I. I want to give people a process that they can call and they can talk, whether they disapprove or disagree with me. But the reason why I allow that is to set the record straight. You understand? I know got some people that be angry, they don't want them to call and to talk and to cause discourse and confusion, but that's who I am. I don't want to cause confusion, but I want to give you an opportunity to say what you have to say, and I can correct you on air. You understand?
I understand where you're coming from, but you also have to understand your little listener's point of view.
Uh-huh.
The caller that just came on, he's not a well-read individual. He is definitely a soup drinker, and he's wasting people like me. He's wasting my time. I don't have the time to listen to his foolishness. Honestly, if there's someone that you can have a constructive dialogue with, then fine. But not him. Not him on air. It's disheartening. And then do I want to listen to Gavin Matthews again because you have all of these soup drinkers coming on and talking foolishness? It makes absolutely no sense. I'm an intelligent individual and I do not have the time to listen to that nonsense. That is rhetoric. And to conclude, I would like to tell you, he's one of those trench pappos. He's a jagabat. Have a blessed day.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for calling.
Thank you for your time. Bye now.
Yes, bye. I must say thank you very much. Let me make this other call. This other individual who were calling. I must make sure that I call back everyone who was calling. Just hold for me a minute, please. Yes, good afternoon. Thank you very much for calling the GMS Live Voice of Democracy and GMS Live Radio Guyana. Go ahead.
Yeah. Good afternoon, Mr. Matthews. Yeah, this is Mr. Williams. I just called to respond concerning the guy that was talking, right? First of all, yeah, hello?
Yes, I'm listening to you.
Yes. We can know that this is somebody that doesn't read at all because he probably never read the Constitution, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he's just talking based upon what people says, right? Now let me establish this, and I want him to hear this, right?
Yes, he's hearing you.
The Constitution is what determines how someone gets into the office, not the view of 144 countries, right? And I guarantee, if you bring those 144 countries before a court of law, they cannot prove what they claim they said they see. You don't even have to get a lawyer. I myself will prosecute them, and they cannot prove of what they claim they see. Because what he don't understand, I'm a contractor, and if I do an estimate for a wall is 10 by 100, right?
Okay.
When I don't calculate the wall, even though it's 10 by 100, and you see that total figure, I still have to take out what is invalid. That would be the window space and the door spaces them to determine the accurate figure of the wall in terms of the amount of block it is taken.
Okay.
So even the people who claim they said the see Mingo this and Mingo that, if you put them before a court of law, right?
Okay.
They cannot prove what they claim they see. So if he have one bit of sense, right? He would know that the people them had an impression, but they did not went down and check fines. They were not there with Mr. Lowenfield, right? When he would have tabulated the vote and recognized that this figure that they put up are not really valid votes, right? And let me establish this also to him, right? Because this is one of the nonsense Mr. Nandalal is telling people that Mr. Lowenfield don't have the power. If Mr. Lowenfield is a manager for a company and 1,000 staff check the goods them, when it comes to his office and he has to sign, he can never sign if it's in his, if according to his intelligence that the figures are wrong, right? And the law could have never meant that he got to sign even though it is wrong according to his mathematical intelligence, right? So a lot of people don't understand the law and the principle that applies to it. They just listen to certain people who think they know and is not reading our constitution to know that if he, Mr. Lowenfield, if he was responsible to making the final check to approve of all the votes them, and when he check it, the staff them that would have checked it before they made errors, his duty was to correct that. Right? So I don't know who is that guy where he come from, but he need to go back to school and read our constitution and let him know that our constitution decides how someone get into office, not the views of the international community or the Caribbean community, right? And if he don't agree with me, well then he should let I come in his home and tell him
how to live,
how he should run his home.
Yes.
And he should not want his wife to submit based on the laws that surrounds marriage.
Okay, I appreciate that that I was able to call you back so you can express yourself, and I fully agree with you. So you know,
yeah, because one thing you're looking at raw figures, right? But I'm saying when you would have, if you're doing an estimate, you got to know how much windows on this wall, how much doors,
right?
And those are the invalid that has to come out,
right?
And then you have the total figure, you have the real figure, right? So he's a misguided and mislearned, twisted, known entity.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for calling, and I had the opportunity to call you back. Okay, stay safe and be careful. Now, I am 100% sure, as I'm sitting here talking right now, I'm 100% sure that Maya Motley did not had the State Department to declare, and I'm talking about the U.S. State Department to declare that her party won the elections in Barbados by a landslide. I am very much sure about that. And I'm very much sure that she gained governance by a declaration of that electoral office that runs the elections in Barbados. I'm 100% sure. This is a fact. I am 100% sure. So that is why I was against what that is why when I say what I say about her earlier, you understand? It is the fact. If you were head of the Caribbean community then, and you came to Guyana, what you had to do to solve that problem is to give an advice based upon the Constitution of the Cooperative Republic of Guyana. The advice should that to Mr. Jack Deal, who was then the opposition leader, would have said, well, look, boy, your Constitution says that after 10 declared districts by returning officers, which is the Representation of the People's Act, ROPA, that the declaration given by the elections officer, the CEO, the chief elections officer, should stand. You should work this out after you swear in a president, a declaration, and you swear in a president, and let the court decide as usual. And then we can take it from there. But we cannot interfere with Guyana's constitution. That is what Maya Motley and all the rest of them did with the invitation of the government. I'm serious. This is what I talk about early. And we can't go to Barbados and do that. Never. Maya Motley can't be an installed prime minister. She would have been sleeping today. Barbados would have been in uproar. So what about Guyana? You could imagine we now got to sit down and see a duly elected prime minister that came here and have us partake in an unconstitutional process. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about, and I'm serious about it. Keith Rowley, he pulled out because after he see the confusion of what is going on, it was an unconstitutional process. The University of West Indies came to that decision. Their law faculty department came to that decision that Guyana and the Caribbean, because they blame the Caribbean Court of Justice. Guyana and the Caribbean had participated in an unconstitutional electoral process in the Cooperative Republic of Guyana. So, my friend that called earlier, and I call him my friend, I understand that he likes he likes the process of the PPP, but I wanted to educate him, to let him know that me sitting here is not the dependability of what the international community says. The international community is not the Constitution of the Guyana. It's not the Constitution of the Cooperative Republic of Guyana. The international community are only there as observers. Their decisions as observers does not. Their decisions and their comments as observers does not bring about the outcome of the electoral process. Their observance and their written observance are mostly there to say, this is what we saw, and this is what we advise if you want to take advice that you should do. That's their position as observers, nothing more else. But since when they become part of our constitutional process? I can show you a simple instance. Now we have a Trinidadian company down here that is telling us as Guyanese and wants to obstruct as Guyanese, as Trinidadians, the 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 local content. Hold on. See if I can take this call. Pleasant good afternoon to you. Thank you very much for calling the GMS Live Voice of Democracy and the GMS Live Radio Guyana. Good afternoon. Hello? 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 Okay, the call has failed. Let me call back. Oh no. I want to say this. Do not video call me. I would not answer your call. I'm very serious about that. Do not video call me. I wouldn't answer your call. Call me straight and I'll be able to take your conversation. Thank you very much for calling the GMS Live Voice of Democracy in the GMS Live Radio Guyana. Good afternoon to you. Hello? Yes. And you can imagine this company so brave in us that they don't want us to participate in our own local content to make sure that they pay royalty, to make sure that they pay certain taxes. That's a Trinidadian company that we have over here doing all sorts of nonsense. So Guyana become a place where anything could happen. That's what's happening. And we're suffering and paying the consequences because you know why? The lack of representation. Let me call back this caller that was calling. The lack of representation. We're having a serious problem with politicians representing us at the end of the day. We're having that problem. And the lawlessness of it is that we do not have a proper representative as a government because they were installed. We got to keep this information flowing. They are illegal. They are illegitimate. I don't care who they be. This is the GMS Live Voice of Democracy calling back on the GMS Live Radio Guyana. Good afternoon to you.
Thank you for calling me back. I was just wanting to know why when these people call you to question you about the vote. Why you didn't ask them about the 49 boxes and who is running from the electoral petition? And that will seal all the problem. Ask them those questions and see how they're going to answer it.
I understand.
Just a simple question you need to ask them. I'm getting so upset when these Lagubagu call you to question your intelligence.
I understand.
Just ask them those two questions. Ask them about the 47 bucks and who running from the electoral petition, who running to CCJ. And that will answer the question.
I understand what you mean.
All right, thank you.
Yes, you're welcome.
Yeah, just ask those questions.
Yes, and thank you very much for giving me that advice. And that's a question that they themselves have to answer indeed. But thank you very much for calling and being
very simple.
Yes, and being observant
it's
too.
Very, very simple.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah, all right, thank you.
Yes, you're welcome. Stay safe and be careful. Yes, I understand that, and everybody's rattled up. Everybody is upset a bit about what is going on in our country. But I want us to know this before I leave, before I wrap up. I want us to continually know this what I'm talking about. If we pay attention to what is going on, if we ask the right questions that our elected representatives are supposed to cover, the will and the interests of the people, well, then we shouldn't have a problem. And I firmly appreciate what Ubraj Narayan is doing, although he's a mayor. I firmly appreciate what he's doing because he's letting the Guyanese public know that there's certain things he can't do as a mayor because he's been prevented from doing it by laws that only the local government ministry can do through the town clerk, nobody else. He doesn't even have such powers. He could only be guided by the existing laws that he can work with. So, by saying these things, help me to realize that he is on the ball, educating people about what the process is, the truth is. That's what we need to do. We don't need to sideline everybody. We need to stop doing that. You understand? We need to stop sidelining people. We need to stop misguiding people. We need to help everybody to understand that what we can do as a people is to make the de facto administration accountable to us. And we need to let them know that they're de facto. They're illegitimate. We need to constantly keep telling them that. We need to constantly keep telling them this is what we do not want. When we say nothing, then they say that, well, we accept the present situation and they go on tirading. You see what is being said now in the public? A whole container full of ammunition, arms and ammunition. What you think it coming to Guyana for? If it was budgeted by the government of Guyana for military purposes, well, then we didn't have a problem because it was bought for the military. But it was intercepted because none of such documents can be provided for its destination. You can't provide it to those who bring arms in the country to sell an ammunition. I'm talking about the private businesses. They can't even buy it like that. They got a whole heap of documentation that they got to provide. They got documentation by the government, documentation from the person who sells them these arms, documentation of how the arms and the ammunition is getting to Guyana in order for it to be resold to those who are licensed to buy. And when it comes under the direction of the government of Guyana because it goes to, hold on, yes, it goes to the Guyana Police Force, which has an armory that keeps these things. So when you buy it, you got to go there to pick it up. No one person doesn't have these things in a vault. Everything for them, they got to go straight to the Guyana Police Force armory to pick it up. They got to take it to the same place to get the numbers filed on. This was bought from Mohammed's. This is the initiation number to tell you, well, look, this is the number for the firearm, and this is how much rounds or ammunition that you're buying for the firearm. This is how much clips of magazines you'll be having. So a record can be made. This is how it works. So if this thing is going the last place that this ship's supposed to touch down is Guyana, and it's intercepted there, and the papers, the documentation doesn't have a full recognition, doesn't have a full standard of recognition of how all these things can be brought to Guyana, how you expect it to happen. So you got a private militia army. We gotta be serious. I don't want nobody sit down telling me, but I think And I don't think, no, man, it's a serious business. For 10 years, 2,500 people died and disappeared. 2,500. And we still can't give an accountability of 1,480 people who would have either died or disappeared. We can't give an account. And then you telling me I must trust these people? Hmm? I understand the PPP propaganda. They want to allude us to the differences of one's imagination so we can be misguided. We can forget the things that they have done to us and continue to do to us. I want to say thank you for all those who have joined in with me at this time for the hour and 20 odd minutes. I want to continue to let you know that you can support the Gavin Matthews Show by buying the Black Love t-shirts that we have on sale presently. It is to support the strength and give strength to the show and keep on being uh, a social media outlet that you can depend on to give you the information correct and as it is. The Black Love t-shirts are on sale. It's $30 to one, 30 US dollars to one. Uh, the primary colors for females, we have a lot for females and we have a lot for males. What we do have for males is a lot of jersey materials. And for females, we have I think there's the Polo brand, but we have it in different colors. We we had some colors that came in yesterday: blue, pink, baby pink, uh, white, and I think another color is mustard. We have those colors available with the Black Love sign. Can you please visit the page, the GMS Live page on Facebook, the Gavin Matthews Show's page on Facebook, and you'll get the colors there. I think not all the colors are up there, but I'm helping you to know the colors that are available. Please place your orders while stocks last. For those who are in the New York area, we have someone that I can call. I can give you their number that you can call to make your orders. As a matter of fact, we have someone in the US, on the continent of the US, that you can call. And I think one of the main persons are in New York. For those that are in England, we have someone there that you can make contact with. I can give you that number so you can be able to get that information and having your t-shirts being available to you. And the reason why I'm doing it like this is because I am not fortunate like other persons who would have or could have given information, especially banking information, for you to make purchase such purchases or pre-orders to, so the monies can be collected. It has to be done in a different way. I am not given that privilege by the government. I'm still a political prisoner. I'm blocked from collecting and receiving monies. So in order to give the Gavin Matthews Foundation, the Gavin Matthews Show Foundation, to keep it vibrant, we need all measures to have monies being received via way of promotions or selling of items so we can keep it properly functioning. The numbers are 6210197 592-6210197, and you can also call my number 611-6575 to have those orders done. Those who are locally home in Guyana, I can make that arrangement so you can get it done. I think most Guyanese who are home can get it faster than Guyanese who are abroad. But the order will take 1 week as long as that we receive that money to place those orders, because we don't want to provide the orders and we can't receive the monies as yet. So call me and let us have that arrangement done. The Black Love brand can be available to you if you realize that I put up my certificate showing my rights and ownership to the brand locally home here in Guyana. So I want to say to you, stay safe, be careful, sanitize yourself, wear a mask, and don't forget the little ones that you take into public places. The phone is open for such orders from now until 6 o'clock this evening, where I will be preparing to host the GMS Live Radio Guyana and the GMS Live Voice of Democracy again. So, good day and Cheerios for now.